welcome to Feel Good, Do Good, Repeat. This is Feel Good Pilates. My name's Kayla and this is Clementine. She's joining us today, or maybe she's not, maybe she's camera shy. Anyway, so this is level 4 Pilates. So I'm going to demo the 20 exercises in this level. And these are building off of exercises we've introduced in levels 1, 2, and 3. So go back and revisit those levels if you haven't already tried it, and then come back and try out level 4. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start on our back, knees bent, heels directly underneath the knees. And you're going to inhale and tilt the pelvis forward, creating an arch in the lower back. And on the exhale, you're going to imprint, pulling the belly button to the spine. These are your pelvic tilts. You're going to do 4 of those in each direction. Then you're going to hug your knees into your chest, roll your shoulder blades up, extend your legs out at 45 degrees. Arms are hovering above the floor. Begin pumping the arms, inhaling for 5 counts and exhaling 5 counts. You're going to do that 10 times. The head and shoulders stay lifted and your pelvis remains in neutral for the whole time. That is your Pilates 100. Then you're going to stretch your body out long, take a nice inhale. On the exhale, the hands come up to the shoulder height. Curl your chin to your chest and roll up 1 bone at a time, slowly pressing your vertebrae into the mat as you lift off. And then round up and over your pelvis, reach for your toes. Coming back to your flat back and repeat for 5 reps. Then you go into your roll over. Legs can be in tabletop. Extend your legs to the ceiling. Lower them down to 45. Inhale. Exhale, press the lower back into the mat as you lift up, pelvis right over the shoulders, legs parallel to the floor, and then slowly roll down. The head and shoulders stay on the mat the whole time. You'll do 5 rollovers. Next, we have our leg circles with straight legs. So your left leg will be long, your right leg extended, and you're going to circle the leg across the body, around and up. And you're going to do 8 each direction on each leg. After your leg circles, we have our rolling like a ball. You're going to come up to a seated position, balancing on the sits bones, hovering your heels above the mat, curl your chin to your chest, your forehead to your knees, roll back, lifting your hips up, exhale, roll back up. So it's an inhale to roll back, exhale up, and the back of the head doesn't actually touch the mat. You'll do 5 rolling like a ball. Then we go into our single leg stretch. So you're going to roll back just the tips of your shoulder blades. Both hands hug your right knee into your chest. Your left leg is extended. You're going to switch your legs. Inhaling and exhaling. Head and shoulders are lifted. We're going to do 8 each leg. Then we have our crisscross. So hands behind your head, elbows wide. You're going to bring your right elbow to your left knee. Right leg extends, lifting up and twisting through the rib cage. The pelvis stays neutral, so you're just lifting and twisting the upper spine and continuing 8 each side. So after your crisscross, you're going to come up for your spine stretch. So sitting in the center of your mat, your legs are going to be out to the width of the mat. And if your lower back is tight or your hip flexors are tight, you want to sit maybe on a yoga block or a rolled up towel, or just slightly bend your knees here. You're going to bring your arms straight in front of you. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and then on the exhale, you're going to curl your chin to your chest and start to round your upper spine down and forward. So I'm reaching towards my toes, but I'm also still curling into my center. But my lower back has stayed nice and neutral here. So I'm not hinging or folding, but I'm also not collapsing. I'm really trying to keep this stable and round that upper spine. And then you come back the way you came, going from the base of the spine, flowering all the way up to the crown of the head. We're going to do that 3 times. It's a subtle one, but it's a really important one for that mind-body connection and for isolating the upper spine, which is hard to do. So then after your spine stretch, we have our swan. So you're going back on your stomach. And your hands are going to be right above your shoulders. Elbows tucked tight into the body, feet together, pulling your abdominals up, squeezing your armpit muscles down the back, trying to open the chest. You're going to lift from the upper back. I'm not putting any weight into my arms. And then your arms help out a little bit here as you continue to lift. Now I'm only going to go up to here because I know if I totally straighten, look, I'm just in a back bend and I've just crunched my lower back. So you really want to keep this nice line and lift through your center. I was able to get a little extra there. And then you lower right back down. So we're going to do 5 swans. After our swans, we go into our single kicks. So now your elbows go right underneath your shoulders. You press your forearms and palms into the mat to activate the back. You're going to pull your abdominals in, and then you're going to kick your heel with a pointed toe towards your glute, release, flex your foot, kick, release, and one more point and release. So when you do that quickly, it looks like this: a point, flex, point, extend, point, flex, point, extend. So your goal is to keep the upper body stable and active so you're not totally collapsing and rocking, but you're also trying to actually think about stretching the front of the thigh as well. That's your single leg kick. From there, we go down into our swimming. Let me double check. Yes. So now you're hovering above the mat and your arms are stretched out in front of you, your legs are stretched behind. You're going to lift all of your limbs and then start to flutter the arms and legs, alternating as if you're swimming in the water, keeping your torso still, keeping the limbs long. And you'll do this for 15 seconds, continuing to breathe. Take a nice child's pose, sitting back on your heels, resting your forehead down, taking a breath into that back. And then you're going to come up for your spine twist. So we're adding more rotation in this level. So now here's some more upper body rotation. Your legs are going to be together. Again, if you're tight, you can actually even sit this way for this one if you are tight in the hips. And your arms are going to be out at the shoulder height, pulling your shoulder blades over your pelvis. Sometimes we have a tendency to lean forward or sit back, so really feel, oh, where's that imaginary wall behind my spine as you twist just the upper ribs as far as your ribs can go. So it's not as far as your arms and head can go, it's just that rib cage, and then back to center, and then twist, 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 and back to center. If you are seated like this, after the first 2 reps, switch the crossing of your legs so you're evening out your hips and do 2 more reps. So that will be 4 of your spine twists. Then we go down for the bridge, the shoulder bridge. Heels are directly underneath your knees. Palms press into the floor. You're going to tuck your pelvis. Keep that tucked position as you start to lift your spine up, keeping your rib cage nice and tight, all the way up until you're in that straight line, engaging the glutes. And then you're going to slowly roll down, starting with the rib cage, trying to keep your hips lifted as long as possible, rolling your spine down 1 bone at a time, and then fully releasing. 4 bridges. So from our bridge, we go into our teaser. So we have our legs longer, further down the mat, almost as far as they can go without lifting off the floor. It's just a nice wide bend. The arms come up, and it's just like your roll-up. So if you're struggling with your roll-up, you might know that you're going to need a little help here, so you can bring your fingers here. I'll show you both ways. So the first version is curling your chin to your chest, and that now I've tucked my pelvis so that I have a launching point here. That's where the abdominals come into play. They're working really hard to keep this position so that I'm not arching and lifting from my back. I have to round, engage, and keep that engagement to lift up. And then the same way on the way down, I'm tucking, abs are holding that tuck in place as I lower the rest of my body down. Now if that's a challenge, this does take time. You're going to bring your hands behind your quads, wherever you can reach, and start to lift up. And once you get stuck, just kind of give yourself a little help by pulling, 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 and crawling up your legs, and then coming right back down. And then try and go down without your hands, because it does help strengthen the abdominals, taking your time going down slowly, and it's, gravity helps you on this one, so you can go down without any assistance and really work on that control to build up the strength for going up. So those will be your teaser preps, so you'll do 4 of those, and we're going to add in just a little teaser here. So if those teasers those teaser preps are going well, we're going to do a bent knee teaser. So your legs are in tabletop, your arms are up, and you're going to roll up to a seated position here. So you want to create a nice V between your quads and your torso. And then you're keeping the legs there, and you're going to roll the upper body right back down. So it's the exact same movement, but the legs are lifted in the air, so you have to work a lot harder to get up. So try a couple of those after your teaser preps. At the most, you can do 4. Okay, so then we go into our side kicks. So your hand is rested in your elbow. You're lining up your torso with the back edge of the mat and bringing your feet slightly in front of your belly button. And from here, you're just going to lift, parallel leg, lift, and lift. I'm getting a nice stretch for the inner thigh, and I'm working the outer thigh. And then you're going to do your circles. You're going to come forward, up, and right back down. It's like a half circle. It's like a letter D. Coming in front of the body, up and down, and then you'll reverse, going up, forward, and back. 8 each circle, 8 lifts, 8 circles each direction, and then you'll do the same thing on the other leg. After your side kicks, we have your side arm reach. Back on your knees with your right foot, the opposite, whatever foot you're starting on, out to the side, and you want to parallel that foot with the edge of your mat, so the toes are facing front, and then check in with your pelvis. I have a tendency to lean back, so I have to really get my pelvis over my knee and make sure both hips are facing front and I'm not twisted one way or the other. So there I am, I'm actively pressing that foot, arms are at the shoulder height, and I'm just going to lower the ribs. I'm bending at the waist, so I'm not doing any crazy, weird other compensations. I'm just tipping over until my fingertips tap, and then I have to lift from this oblique. So we're going to do 4 of those, and then on the 5th one, you'll go down and stretch. So you can either, I'm a little tight this morning, oh, there it goes. And you can bring it all the way down to your palm, or you can go to your fist, or you can put a yoga block there if you're still pretty tight and need a little extra support. You'll do 4 each direction with the stretch on each side. Then we have our plank, which is 75 seconds today, which is 1:15. You're going to hold that plank for 1 minute and 15 seconds. So make sure you have your timer. It feels longer than it is. You'll want to end sooner if you don't have that little 75-second marker right in front of you. And then the final one is our balance. So we're going to roll up to a standing position. I'll walk over here so you can see. And we'll do our final balancing, where we're going to lift up, heels together, toes apart, stacking the body in line vertically, arms rise up with your heels, and then lower the arms with your heels. We'll add a little challenge on this one. So at the end of your 8th rep, you're going to hold, and you're going to stay lifted, and you're going to add circles with the arms. So this is just kind of testing your balance, because it's sending energy and weight in all different directions. So your body has to react, as you can see mine is. So that will be a fun challenge, trying 3 circles in each direction. So there you have it, level 4 Pilates. Enjoy!